Alright, hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome back to some more Creeper World 4. It's been a little while. I play this game periodically, and we're back with a random map. Seed for this one is lilacs for reasons. So what are we gonna do? I actually kind of like this map. We've got these like deep cuts in the map that kind of bottleneck Creep and me to a lesser degree. Which means that this area is reasonably safe. I've already started my grid over here, so we gotta figure out where to put things down. If you somehow have not seen me play Creeper World before, it is a tower defense base building game where you're effectively fighting a nanite ocean and trying to keep it from destroying your base while you're also pushing in and taking out each and every one of these like little structures, and every one that you take out reduces it down to nothing. So, oh shoot, I forgot there's like a Vampire Survivors mod for this that I gotta give a shot. We'll do that later. Brain drain. I don't know. I don't want to do anything fancy or new right now. All I want to do is play some Creeper World. Yeah, I was originally considering, like, I could maybe push into this just because there's a really good plateau here, but I would get absolute trucked if I did. So we're going to try and get up to this point and just build some basic guns before it gets too flooded. And we should have a decent amount of power generation. I'll want to get a couple of terps here to get as much power as I possibly can, but we'll probably leave that for later. I'll get a pair of mines too. Oh no. I did it to myself. Okay, I'll have to just leave that. I accidentally put a second tower down. Hopefully that's not going to set me back too much. These towers tend to be fairly cheap, so it shouldn't be too bad. I'll just delete these as the other ones get built. Alright, so far so good. Yeah, this is going to be a doozy. But if I can snag it, we're in business. Because it's got a lot of lowland area for me to take and hold. Though it is coming in kind of hot. Go back here. Let's get some pylons down. Hook it up kind of quickly if I can. There we go. And we'll also get a handful of mortars in the area. There's no reason for me to really think about building up on these mines at the moment, or at least trying to avoid building on them. There's no way I'm actually going to be able to use those locations. So let's take both of these, put some blueite. Not blueite, let's give them urns. Okay, to explain, seeing as I really should tutorialize this a little bit better. Miners just give me energy, which I use to build structures and also pay for ammo and whatnot. I can give them an urn, which are these like floating box things that'll boost their effectiveness by, I want to say, like 2 times. I don't think it's actually 2 times. It's less than that, but it's one of those where like it could be pretty substantial, all things considered. We want to move over here. The reason why I'm obsessive about putting a grid down, mostly just personal aesthetics. Uh-oh. It's mostly personal aesthetics, but it does also mean the absolute most efficient coverage of the ground. For the purposes of, like, getting these towers down and maximizing power gain potential. I'm just going to put, like, 3 mortars here to hopefully keep things off. We should have minimal issues paying for all of this, but this does look like it's going to get squidge dicey. I'm probably going to want like a bunch of cannons up and down this line. On the plus side, on the plus side, the map is fairly, or I have a fair amount of space to work with here. So apart from the upfront cost of potentially just taking this as my own territory, we should actually have a decent amount of power gen to work with for once. And I'll want to take this as soon as we're in a safer position. Okay. So now that we've done this, we should probably also get snipers. I'll put them kind of on the ridge parts and up high. Snipers keep certain enemies from getting at me. And pause, we should also very much get the factory down, because I'm going to need that for anti-air defenses. And I don't want to be, like, too spendy here, but I also need to get these things down, like, stat. And if I can do that, we're in a good spot. Alright. I'll just get a couple more mortars in. The nice part is once half of these things are built, a lot of the power drain goes away. Because it's mostly a lot of upfront costs. Yeah, it's probably not gonna raise. I'll just put 2 of those there. Ooh, that deficit is bad. But again, as soon as most of these are built, it's not bad anymore. And you're gonna see that deficit drop off pretty quick. The main worry is if this floods over and causes me issues. If you notice, this is already starting to take a smidge of damage. I might have to move it back, but yeah, there it goes. Luckily, these are all still powered, so it's not too big of a deal. Okay, so let's just wait. Alright. So generation is not as bad as I thought. I'm gonna get a couple of these just in case they decide to sneak a dude along the backside. I'll just get a couple of these here. Even if it breaks the grid, we're not really using that area. Okay, let's see. Should be good. So let's go back here. I'm gonna get a couple of these terps. They're terraforming tools, not something more heinous. We're just gonna want to flatten this out, like a bunch. That way I can actually utilize this terrain. I'm gonna do the same thing over here, because I want to be able to use all of the mines, at least in this immediate zone. Let's see. Some of these I think I'm not going to be able to keep. That's okay. Yeah, the last time I played this, I used a lot of mortars and it was quite effective. And I think I'm going to follow suit this time around and just go really hard on mortar walls. I think that was a tower lost. Now this is a concern that sometimes they like to drop small quantities of creep into the void and have it creep up into my base. So I have a couple of these guns here and there, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to have like a couple of sentries just scattered around in lowland spots. They're also generally aiming for... There's a specific tower type that I'm not seeing here. They're shield generators. And yeah, it doesn't look like there are any currently present in my setup. They're aiming for these things. They like to put eggs on them. But I think we're at least somewhat in the clear there. Okay. So we're not overusing too much. I'll just get a bunch of these down. And there comes the air defenses. So, should be fine. Or air defenses. Airstrike-ish. I'm feeling pretty comfortable about this at the moment. Oh, we barely have any red on, though. That's a worry. I didn't realize this map would have as many problems. Okay, let's move these up. Okay, we're generating 37, we're using 37. It says a deficit of even higher, which is a concern. We'll just put that there. At some point in this process, my grid got janked, and I don't like it. It's fine. It's fine. This was the original line. I almost kind of wish I could actually color some of these. It would make it easier for me to keep things tidy. Do like 3 of these. I don't want to go too deep into... Let's see, I don't want to go too deep into the deficit. Just because if I run out of too much power, I actually just stop. I stop firing, and that's bad. We don't want to do that. Okay, so we'll just get 4 of those, giving me a couple left to put into guns. I think actually the big one would be like beefing up these pair of snipers. And like this one. I think those are genuinely going to be some of the more powerful upgrades I could possibly get at the moment. Because giving the sniper rifles, for example, an urn, a power-up, increases their range dramatically, and their fire rate, so they can take things out faster. So that should keep at least a portion of my base from getting stunned or destroyed. I'll just put that there. So where's our inn? Because that's the big question whenever I play this game, is that I'm very much looking for kind of a weak spot. The easiest and best weak spot I can see is actually this one right here. We've got a nice little clear line. Leading into this area right down here. That we are actually doing a bang-up job defending. And so if I can get a bunch of mortars up in here to just kind of push it back, if I can take this yellow stuff and get on top of this hill, that gives me a really good firing vantage point, and also a really good firing vantage point, and I can generate my own anti-creep using that stuff. We'd need a little bit more land, though. Okay, how are we doing? Kind of good. It's a little gutsy to overextend. Well, is it gutsy? It's not like it really costs me much to overextend in this manner. Yeah, there's the possibility that one of the towers is going to get destroyed, but that's really not much of a problem. And if you notice, we are kind of loaded in, or we're already starting to kind of push them back a little bit. Okay, let's put that there. Yeah, some of these are going to get destroyed. But that's fine. I used to always go for cannons, because cannons push the line back a little bit, but they don't do well with height. They're not an AoE, they just reduce numerically. Maybe numerically isn't the right word to use, but I don't know. I've got too much of a headache to actually find the correct one. Effectively, the bigger and deeper the creep wall is, the more effective the mortars are. Because it's hitting more of it, and it's shooting for maximum possible density. Okay. Here's a big one. Let's start making an M-rift out here. That effectively lets me transport resources to the front line. Without having to rely on transporting along long power lines and power line networks. Yeah, I thought this grid was tainted. We'll get these towers in and then swap them, probably. Okay. Where are you? Huh. I forget how to go top down with this. Not that it really matters. Like, again, this is all just silly junk that I do because it's fun to be obsessive over weird things occasionally. To say, yes, my Creeper World's, you know, tower grid must be pristine at all times. Like, it's silly nonsense, and why would anybody do this? But if not, why not? Why not me? Why not be weirdly silly and obsessive over something that brings me a small modicum of extra satisfaction, even if it's a bit more of a hassle? I don't know. Okay, I'll move this up a little bit. I don't want to leave this area completely undefended, but gotta redo my lines. You got the right one? Alright, there we go. This is mildly the concern of pushing upwards, is that some of this would actually get in. I was right. Okay. So I guess next order of business is just keep extending the mortar line. Because if I can push this, I mean, if I can just keep pushing them back, just alternate between line of towers, line of mortars, that solves a lot of my problems. The one thing we're going to need is probably some more snipers. I'm starting to push past their range. The only immediate problem is they don't shoot upwards particularly well. That's not their forte. Oh well. Casualties are expected. Explosions are beautiful. That's just immediate. Deficit, 120. Ugh. But again, casualties are expected and the explosions are beautiful. Alright, so how are we looking? We've already taken this line. This might actually be a really short episode comparatively. I want to say I'm getting better at this game, but I think most of it is I'm just getting silly. I'm starting to get that kind of like basic head feel, that instinctual grasp over, I'm not going to say acceptable losses, because that's not really it. But that, like, unless there's something weird going on with, like, the enemy response, it's pretty easy to gauge, like, how much they're going to be generating at a time, and how much I need to push, and the answer is, like, the way it currently works out math-wise is that there is no possible way, for a well-designed, or a well-defended mortar line like this to fail, or get overwhelmed, as long as I have the energy and resources to back it up. Which is, of course, kind of silly. I'm just gonna move all of these up, because we've got a couple of these mine points that I might as well take. Let's see, I'll just get rid of that one for the time being. Terraform. Whoop. Let's make this brush size a smidge bigger. Copy. Actually, probably easier if I just bring it down. I usually bring things up, but I think in this case, the reverse is better. Move these over. Facilitate that. Do we have any others? Move that up. Because yeah, I've got a number of these snipers that no longer need to be as constrained. I should probably, like, rebuild them just in case things collapse. Okay. So part 2 of this strategy that I haven't started yet. It's time to flood the world. But with my own creep. Switch this to blue-eye. We're going to want to get over here and do the same thing to this, but weirdly enough, this is having, well, this is having more trouble getting in here. I guess it makes sense. Let's see, let's get a couple of sprayers. I'll do like 3 for now and just do always on. The entire point of these is they're going to slowly fill up this area and get me over to this, because if I can take this mountain for myself, game folds becomes cake. Is already cake. Creeper World is kind of a beautifully solvable game. I think it does make it feel a little bit repetitive after a while, which is why I only play it every like month or 2. You know, maybe sometimes I'll put some more time into it. I will feel like doing an extra like video or 3, and sometimes I will do less because I got other things to play. But right now I'm in a little bit of a lull. Hades 2 just came out, and not a lot of other games are really scheduled for the early part of this week, and I'm just like, well, I could play more Hades 2. But I got a gnarly headache, so I'm just gonna chill. Play some Creeper World. Have a nice time. The nice part is, if I can push into this, I don't exactly have... Oh yeah, there's the anti-creep already flowing. If I can push into this and take this over, like, there's nothing. They have like 1 blob nest that really isn't worrying me. And so I can just... Oh, that's a bad... That's not grid certified. It is interesting how much easier this has become now that I'm not bothering with cannons as much. Like, they're nice, and they have their uses, especially for that, like, really early hold the line element, but after you get past that, they're not that good. Not compared to the mortar wall. I'm just gonna push these back. Yeah, so the entire point is to kind of flood this area, take this for myself, and quietly take this mountain for myself. Now that's toast. Alright, other things I can do is probably get a refinery down. Let's just push in here a bit. We'll probably lose a couple of these towers. But at this point, anything that is currently underneath the anti-creep is functionally safe. Because the chances of the creep getting back into the anti-creep territory are extremely slim. And so if you notice, this thing is now being flooded out and can't deal with the amount of mortars that I have parked around it. I'll just park them there. At least for the moment. Okay, get a nullifier down. Nice and easy. Keep it back a little bit. And we might have a couple of casualties here. Nope, never mind. I'll get like 3 of them right there, just so we don't have to worry about it. I'm gonna move that one up. Ooh, that might have been premature. That was premature. I was hoping I'd have a little bit of a lull. I'll just put that one up there. I think we'll be fine at this point. It's just a matter of not goofing it. Keep spreading these towers upwards. Okay, how's this looking? Do I just swarm this immediate vicinity? I'll do it. Because I could do more for a moment. Should probably also get some, like, missile launchers just up in here. Not that we have, like, too much to worry about, as there's no way they're touching me, not with this current setup, but it cuts down on cost a smidge. Just surround these. Keep pushing back. Let's get these kind of in the area. It's going to take a little bit to get to the blob nest, and, like, we are going to have some losses. Nullifier destroyed, but yeah, that was kind of expected. I'll just move these over here. End goal on this one is just have these as kind of, I mean, I guess sacrifices. They're just there to eat the blobs. I think we might get that done before it's a problem. I don't know. I'll get another M-Rift out here. It might not be fully charged, but I think these are going to be able to shoot it before. We'll see. It takes a little bit for this thing to charge up, unfortunately. You know what? We're just going to build a second and a third. And... oh, no, we're good. Still having that second and the third is probably a good idea. So let's take a look at this. Let's take a look at this Jello nightmare. Still gonna take a while. I guess next order of business is probably rockets. Because we might as well start prepping those. Unfortunately, I don't think we have a whole lot of green R. Oh no, we've got a second one right here. There we go. And then we've got two more right in this mess. So, I guess let's start capitalizing. That didn't work. Be gone, foul, gridless ones. There we go. The grid shall be maintained. Let's just start pushing my mortar wall up. Last time I played this, I just built new ones, but I think now I'm just going to be... well, I don't know. I don't know which is lazier. Moving my mortars up or building new ones? So, looking at this, I should probably build a handful of snipers along this wall so they can't cross the gap and surprise me with anything nasty. There we go. 4. There we go. Kind of sneak some of these up. If I just have a wall of snipers pointed at him, that really does lock down what he can do. Still don't know why I'm gendering the creep. It's an alien, it's an alien bioweapon. Nanite weapon? And that's like... I don't think they ever actually had any, like, visibly gendered like, leaders or anything of the sort. A couple did talk to you, though, oddly enough, I thought it was like a version of the main character. I don't know, it's been a while. Almost all of the Creeper World lore is told through Creeper World 3, and then everything else was just kind of fun bonus stories and side stuff, I think. I don't know, I've never played 1 and 2. Okay, so now that we're kind of clearing these out, we can get at least a little bit. I'll push a little bit further. Especially because we're going to want to take this from mines. That should be good enough. I'll have to do some overhauls. Or we just say meh. Actually, you know what I should do? Is maybe start getting a couple more sprayers closer to the front line. I'll get like one over here. I don't think we're gonna have the funding for it exactly, but we can get there. Okay, so let's do like the world's laziest terraform. Oop. Okay, so how are we even going to do this? Because the immediate problem with this, to some degree, is that I have a lot of structures kind of in this area. And it's going to take a little bit of pushing just to get it in here. Not to mention, my handful of terps aren't even in the area. I think we can go up to ×4 speed. Okay, I'll just wait until some of this builds up. We'll have to move some things around. And rely somewhat on orbitals to just keep this down while the terps work. Oh, these are locked off. We'll just move them back. Okay, move that back. Clear that out. We don't need that one there. Put it back. Terraform again. Okay, let's just fill a bunch of this in. There we go. And now that we've taken this land, we can actually start pushing into it. I probably should have pushed past before I did the big terraform project, but the terrain was just awful for getting anything down. Whereas, I mean, would you look at that? Near instantaneous. Okay, I think that pulls them out of this kind of little low land. Loses me a couple of them. But I can work with that. Let's grab a handful more. Yeah, there's definitely some casualties coming in at this point, but let's see. Did I have a tower here? I did. Move these back. Put that there. Might as well start punching into that. Do another... Just kind of keep expanding it out here. Because the goal to some degree is just take this entire zone. You know what? Screw it. Let's be extremely needless. This whole plateau is kind of nothing. And so if I can slowly just push into it. There we go. I'll just pull those back for a second because they live in a hole. Look at that. Yep. Dude couldn't even do anything. How do I... Oh, there we go. Destroy. Destroy tower. There was a tower in there. Okay, so let's take a look at this. Anything else? A number of these. Nope. Put them there. Like, I don't need to be that particular. Not everything needs to be filled in like this. But it really does make it a little easier if I actually have enough land to put all my guns down. It just takes a while. But time is on my side at this point, and we can just build an army of Terps. Let's see, there we go. I think that'll be good enough, at least for now. We'll need to move some of these out, but what I should probably do is go back to pushing. The anti-creep can only do so much. Okay. Also just extend these. I think the grid has still been maintained. I'm always a little surprised when I can manage to keep it consistent all the way out here. Because usually there's something to like mess it up in some way, shape, or form. But it looks like we're doing good. Yeah, the goal here is to get just enough. Let's do a rain on that section since I'm in a good spot. This one got screwed up. These are wrong. Yeah, it pushes back pretty fast though. I guess we could do a singularity. And a conversion. And push back just a little bit. That's fine. Yeah, I'll just make it easy on me for a moment. Yeah, some of this is going to get taken back. A lot of it is really fast, actually. But I can use it for a pretty solid, quick advance. If I do it correctly. And I think I got it. Because it's gonna take a while to punch into this. It's a lot of creeper on this side. Still, we've managed to flood out this entire area as a result, which was kind of what I was hoping for. So let's take a look over here. One, we might as well move these guys up. Move that one over. All right. Okay. So now that I've done that, extend all of these. Well, let's get the mines down. I've been waiting for this. Unfortunately, I'm going to have to get rid of at least this one. Because, yeah, it's going to be in my way kind of no matter what I do. So we'll just jam a pair of towers right next to it. Get those down. Look at the amount of connections that we're just generating on a per tower basis. This is a little silly. Get those out. Get these over. Let's keep getting those mines down. Okay, structure. Back to tower. That fits shockingly well. All things considered. Eh. Okay. So now this is flooded. This is getting flattened. The real trick is we're going to switch all of this to blueite. And we're just going to get a bunch of sprayers. Like just a whole mess of them. Always on. I wasn't really expecting to get more than that out that direction. That's fine. I think that's another mine there. I know I could turn the creep transparent, but that's silly. Okay, so what else can I do? Because we can kind of push into this area poorly. There's a dark zone, which is going to make it a little tougher. And then I'm probably also going to want to think about sniper rifles. Because I don't think I have any in the immediate vicinity, and we are going to need some. This area is getting stunned in a bad way. Oop. Let's, give it a bit of a break for a moment. Prepare for that conversion. I guess I was a little late. Whatever. Okay, slow it down. Leave a little bit of a hole. I'm still not sure which is better, rain or the singularity conversion. I think I get more effectiveness out of a out of rain, but it is legitimately hard to tell. Okay, I think at this point this area is pretty functionally clear. Just bring all of the terps over. Clear out the rest of this, and then we can kind of actually focus my efforts on taking them out. We've already taken half of it, and even like to the point where if I can take this, we're in a good spot. The really silly option is actually to take out here. Let me get a platform down. I'm gonna get two. Reason being, this anti-creep is just giving them, or this creep multiplier is just constantly giving them more creep. If I can take that and hold it, And I do have a lot of conversions to do it with. This gets really funny. Okay, there's supposedly some green art here. Oh no, it's a totem. Oh, it's a totem. Let's see if there's any crystals, unrefined crystals. Yeah, this one. I'm gonna be distractible. I was going to discuss strategy here, but it's so easy to get distracted, man. Whatever. It would be lovely to have a video where I'm actually able to say like, hey, here's how to play Creeper World. But like, it ain't happening. I've got a whole series on that. It's called my playlist. I've been playing this game for years. I just know I get a lot of comments being like, I have no idea what you're doing. And the answer is just like, I mean, I got like a gazillion videos of me slowly learning how to play the game. I feel like the material is there. I know that's a bit dismissive, but it's just like, this is one of those games that's legitimately like really hard for me to explain what I'm doing and where. And even then, I think I'm pretty good at explaining stuff. At least my current thoughts on what I'm doing, even if it is mostly just raving about the grid. Like a weirdo. Yeah, this is where we need the missile launcher. And then a couple sniper rifles kind of along this edge. I just want to get this area reasonably defensible. Yeah, I'm going to ignore these. We're going to take a look over here. Luckily, they haven't seemed to spot this yet. Wait, no. I want to do an M-Rift here? That's really silly. I'll do an M-Rift here. The reason why I want to have the M-Rift right there is we want to be able to just instantly build over here. It's going to take a little bit to kind of punch into this, but once I get it, it's going to be really funny. Because yeah, it's just going to be difficult for me to get headway over here. It's going to take time and energy and effort. Oh, did they just... Okay, they didn't. We should get some cannons down. Just in case they decide to flood this area. They do it sometimes and it's a little rude. Okay, let's start with the singularity. Gonna just wait until that kind of hits peak height. Usually just after it collapses. There we go. Pause. We are going to get a tower down. We are going to get a couple of cannons down. And a couple of sprayers down. Biscuits. Well, one sprayer kind of survived. I'm just going to do a pair of rains over here. Because the entire goal here is to just hold this spot. I'm not going to be able to maintain the grid over here because I legitimately have no idea where it's at exactly. So it'll just be grid round 2. Let's do another rain. Yeah, I think that tower's lost, but that's fine. I wasn't truly expecting to hold it. Yeah. Ooh. Oof. Oof, that's rude. I've got enough tools in my toolbox that I can forcibly hold this area, but I'm hoping to get it so I'm not just draining my orbitals to do so. There we go. Okay, let's swing over here. Yeah, these are not on blueite. Nor are these. There. That should give me plenty. Speaking of blueite, I'm just going to move an amount of these over. Yeah. Here's the group. I'm just going to move some of these for a moment. We want to move an amount of our anti-creep production upwards, specifically if I can really crank up the output here and leave it and have it just be here. This area floods and becomes much easier to take and control. And if I can have it starting to drain out 3 different sides, that becomes easier. If you notice, this area that was looking, you know, doable but messy earlier is now just clearing out naturally without much effort on my part. At least directed effort in this immediate area. Hoping to do is just kind of keep making these really strong slices in each direction. I guess I can do another one of these. I'm just gonna kind of keep yoinking everything in the immediate vicinity. Because if I can kind of keep taking its momentum, or even striking at its core in different ways. I'm just gonna put that there. Because I might actually be able to take this spot without too much trouble. Do a second rain there. Just knock out any potential momentum it might think it had. Because if I can just have this extremely convenient lineup right here, or area over here, gives me a good firing line, and the more it has to spread itself thin. Creep works really well when it's kind of bunched up in small areas. As it's easier for it to stack up high and push. And we're gonna have a couple of losses here. But not as many as you'd think. Let's get a couple missile launchers just so I don't have to worry about it. How are we looking? Let's take a peek at this. Yeah, this is getting places. It's one of those that, like, if all I have to do is just periodically come back and just put another row of mortars down, that's a win. Because then I can effectively play this like an idle game. Just, oh hey, it's time for the, you know, intermittent push forward. I think I'll just go back to making a bunch of these. I'll have to do one of these maps at some point where I do actually go really hard on terps. Just like flatten one hell of a super plateau. Okay. Speaking of other things, let's get an MREFT up in here. I think my last one's pretty far away. I actually don't think I have any in this area, which is not helping. Okay, push a couple of these up. Oh. Yeah, I probably shouldn't have been quite as sloppy out here, but whatever. Let's see how much I can just slack take from myself. Get a couple more snipers up in here. Every time I make major advancements, I should make a note to do that. Okay, speaking of... just a couple snipers. And a bunch of mortars. There we go. I'm just gonna bleed it dry, slowly. The one problem with my, like, super terraforming run is it is going to take eons to finish. But it would be kind of fun to just have, like, a constant max height advantage all the time. Yeah, look at that. You finish the line and it immediately just pushes back. Heck, if you even look at this, this is actually starting to empty out without even any direct interference. I've been ignoring that area for like a while because it was too much of a bottleneck, and trying to get past Dark Digitalis is just it's not worth it. Not necessarily. Okay, let's do a singularity. This looks kind of messy and I wanna make it bad. Partly for me. Yeah, I wasted that one. I was like, oh yeah, before I mess with this, I should probably get some more mortars down just in case. And the answer was, missed my window of opportunity. But not by much. Let's see if I can push these up. Because if I can get rid of the stunners, that makes my life much easier. That's pushing it. Here's the other thing I should probably do. Should probably actually get my sprayers up close, or at least a couple more. Okay, we're gonna get 2 of those, and I'm gonna need some snipers up in here. Overload that one. I might as well start building a beacon too. Getting through the dark zone isn't too bad. It'll take some doing. Alright, let's start overloading that. The main problem is I'm not... Well, no, I'm actually getting pretty close to a emitter out here. I was gonna say, I'm having trouble getting at any of the major generators. And that's a nuisance. Pretty sure that was a nullifier. There we go. Because, yeah, we got 2 of them right here, but they're really hard to reach. They're on Digitalis between 2 dark zones. Like, you cannot get more inconvenient than that. Yeah, actually, you really can't. I was like, am I being hyperbolic? I do have a tendency of being maybe a little too hyperbolic with my statements. And people will latch onto that stuff, and it's just like, you know, actually, no, I don't think I am. Okay, I'll get a couple of snipers in the area, just keep that safe. We don't want any worms deciding that they want to take a chunk out of that. And we want to take out the Dark Tower. It's still going to be a giant pain to get into this. We might actually just go around and surround it first. Let's do a singularity here. Give it just a little bit of a leeway. And then we can do the conversion as soon as it drops, or kind of close to it. Oop, there we go. Okay, start overloading. Pretty sure I do not get to take that. Yeah, it's gone. Just in case, I'm gonna... because that one's gonna take a little bit of doing. And unfortunately, the closer we get, the slower going it becomes until we take out a couple of those emitters. At which point, then this becomes Cake Town. Cake Town. Okay. As stupid as this sounds, I miss the days when memes lasted longer than, like, a little while. I'm not actually even sure if memes really last at all now. It used to be one of those that, like, you know, people would be sharing freaking goofy YouTube videos left and right for, like, months, and now it feels like, boy, something memey happens and you don't find out about it until, like, 2 years later. Like, as absolutely stupid as this sounds, it was the me and the boys going for beans at 3 a.m. And that meme's like, what, 6 years? I don't know, it feels like it's 6 years old. It's probably only 3 years old at this point, but it was one of those that was like big for a little bit, question mark. I'm not even sure how big memes get. But I found out about it like after the fact. Like, I'd never seen anybody say or share anything related to it. Probably just because it didn't fit into my my social sphere's usual interests. I think it was too much absurdist humor. And maybe not absurd. Well, yeah, it is absurdist humor. But in the kind that doesn't, you know, it's not meant to make any sense, but there's definitely that feeling of like, this is true nonsense just for goofs. And I found out about that one like after the fact. I was a little sad because I was like, oh, that's kind of fun. I miss orb memes. That was everywhere for like a little while. That was charming. I don't know why I'm nostalgic for memes. There's just kind of that level of like, yeah, this was just kind of a fun time back in the day, and now it feels like everything is so algorithmically designed to be a thing and then disappear immediately that nothing is allowed to last anymore. Like, I legitimately wonder if we'll ever even get like another Homestuck or Undertale or, you know, kind of super niche fan base game to the same degree, because it almost feels like as soon as we get one of those is gone. Beginning of the year, it was like Lethal Company. That was like the big, you know, kind of goofy YouTube-y game. And then now it's Content Warning, maybe, unless that one's already dropped off. Unlike some of these, admittedly, it's because the games themselves don't really have a whole lot of meat to them. But I'm curious about the staying power of games overall. Maybe part of it is just the fact that it just needs to be something fresh and interesting to really catch and hold people's attention. I say this mostly because, like, Creeper World's kind of been that game for me that, like, I can keep coming back to this over and over and over again. It's got staying power because there's nothing else like it. And maybe that's why it's able to last, is because there is nothing else like it. And I think that's a good and a bad thing. On one hand, it's nice to have games that are like so unique on the market that it has no competition. On the other hand, it feels like, what's a good example? Kingdom. Kingdom's another good example of this. Games that I adore, but almost wish that somebody would make kind of their own version of it, so I could get like Kingdom, but with deeper mechanics. Which is, in a word, Thronefall. But sometimes that level of like iteration can actually be quite valuable. Especially because I think the next Creeper World's going to be side-scrolling again, and I kind of wish they just kept pushing the 3D. Because it feels like the 3D has a little bit more mass market appeal, but is probably also harder to program for. Maybe. Part of the other reason why I think about this, not infrequently, is just in terms of like books and writing. As a kid, I wanted to be an author, and there's still some part of me that would be like, yeah, I'd love to write books and like be an author, even though like I'm sure some asshole will just like feed my collected works into an AI and be like, I generated more books than Wanderbots. You know, clearly I'm the superior author, and I'd be, you know, pissed about that because no. But let's see. But, you know, Lord of the Rings, for example, that's a story with staying power. Largely, I think, in a lot of cases, because it was the trendsetter. That, you know, at this point, going back and rewatching the movies and rereading the books, like, they're good. They're quite good, but I wonder why you don't see a whole lot of modern Lord of the Rings ever. You know, that anything that comes after falls off the face of media and kind of our collective subconscious memory, something like that. Oops, that's no good. You remember as a kid, Aragon and Golden Compass were like the big things, and I mean, obviously I'm not a young adult anymore, so maybe I just don't have the connection. Is that the... Oh, pair of mortars destroyed, right? Not sure. But I'm kind of wondering at what point in society and creative works will the turnover rate of new creations be so fast and so blisteringly unfocused, you know, so I don't want to call it zany, it's not the right word, but, you know, it moves on so immediately quickly that it can never have any hope. Wow, what is even happening over here? I think it's flinging, oh, it's just flinging eggs at me, maybe. We'd probably just need some snipers. Also, I guess there's a worm nest right there that I've been neglecting. Okay, there it goes. And it is hopefully overloading. I think we also desperately need to get an M rift out here. Because even if we've got plenty of power, it takes a while between the need being generated. and the resources reaching it. Pylons would speed it up a little bit, but not over much. Yeah, at what point does kind of the collective attention span of our media landscape and, you know, ability to consume media, at what point does that attention span drop off to the point where it becomes no longer viable for anybody to create anything at all? And that's not entirely true. You know, Supergiant's always going to put out a banger game and everybody's going to lose their minds over it. Or some new, like, multiplayer thing is going to be incredible. But I was looking at a indie roguelike that came out earlier, like a couple weeks ago. Or no, it was last month. Yeah, see, attention spans. But it came out a little bit ago, and I only had like 14 reviews on Steam, which was a bit of a surprise. Because I was like, oh, this is kind of a neat game. I'll get around to it when I get around to it. And the developers have reached out to be like, you know, why haven't you? You know, did we do something wrong? You know, it wasn't a very accusatory thing. It was just a, like, hey, we want to know what we did wrong so we can, like, make sure that we're, you know, we're not doing that. And the answer is just, like, freaking, there's just so much going on all the time that it's impossible to specifically lock in on one. One of the reasons why this is important, God, I'm just turning this into a podcast. I really should just start a podcast of sorts. One of the reasons why this is important is a semi-key factor in the games industry is being kind of part of the community of playing a game. You know, when everybody was playing Elden Ring, there was kind of some level of, like, feeling of unity. It's not quite the right word to use, but, you know, it felt like you were part of something, as silly as that is for a video game. You know, that you were included in a thing that a bunch of other people were experiencing simultaneously, and that's kind of hard to get, especially in our, like, increasingly connected, disconnected world. You know, we don't have nearly as much of a close-knit nearby community as we used to, just due to the fact that the world's too big. And also, we've kind of sold off every single third space possible to just put up strip malls and parking lots and whatnot. Shell saying people love their screens, but to some degree, like, there's... What was that? Oh, live through their screens. Yeah. But to some degree, like, I can kind of understand it. I went to a park earlier today. It was a nice little park. But you could definitely tell that, like, so much of the city and town that I live in has just been paved over for parking lots and shopping plazas and housing and whatnot. And so there's this lovely little park with, you know, beautiful flowers everywhere that have been, you know, nicely curated by, you know, a small horde of gardeners who deeply care about making it look nice. But it's like maybe a couple acres at best in the middle of a small city. And everything else is golf courses and neighborhoods and shopping plazas. And so, yeah, I can't really blame people for not getting out as much, because where do you go? And so I think there's kind of that longing for the community sense, and I think video games give that to people. You know, being part of the conversation, some new big thing comes out and everybody wants to be a part of it. But, you know, the big thing this week is Hades. And in a week, it's not going to be Hades. I mean, it might. Hades has a little bit more staying power, I think, than many. Okay, I'm just gonna drop rain, kind of going up this. I've got 96 orbitals. I think my plan is, at this point, we're just going to flatten everything. Whatever creep there might have been, in these areas, there's not anymore. Let's do a singularity. Okay. Pause for a moment. Kind of fill in some of these gaps that I've just made. Because ideally we want to be able to hold some of the land that we've just taken. And there's a very real possibility we'll never be able to recover, but I'm not in the interest of taking too many risks on that one. Let's do build speed. Okay. Oh, no, that's singularity. I'm gonna do conversion. Because we've got a gazillion eggs in here that I want to see if I can just, like, punch down. I guess I should have just done singularity conversion a couple of times. Just wipe out those eggs. Or, you know, now that I've got these mortars all kind of set up, we didn't lose a single inch. We're just gonna get a couple of those. A couple of these. Okay. So we just do another conversion right there? Yeah. Dense enough, there's pretty much no eggs left. Yeah, the goal at this point is just to push it back so thoroughly that the anti-creep just along the back ends holds it for me. Like, I wonder if a large part of the reason why everything kind of sucks in terms of, like, media scale rate is just largely due to the fact that the internet is still probably one of the better equalizers out there. It's getting worse, but it makes it so that anybody can make a cool thing and effectively escape whatever, like, social class they're stuck in or socioeconomic class they're stuck in. And so you have, like, oodles of people trying to do, I mean, effectively what I do. You know, I was fully expecting to be a poor artist as an adult, you know, just to be able to do the things I wanted, and I kind of stumbled into this job as a mistake. I can't really fault people for wanting to effectively manage to do the same thing themselves. Tough as it is, like, it's not actually very easy to do this. It seems like it's easy to just, like, play a game while talking over it. Anybody can do that. It's the matter of can everybody do it well? And the answer is yeah, actually. I think a lot of people truly can do what I do reasonably effectively. It's just a matter of having enough, like, time and opportunity and target you know, available target audience, market demand to actually be able to do it. I think that's one of the unfortunate parts, is that every iteration of me out there, or, you know, some other big YouTuber, inherently, I don't want to say kind of denies the existence of the next, closes the door so that the next one can't make it in. I mean, this has always been true. I remember having an argument with somebody a long time ago, who was mad because of, I think it was Radbrad. I don't even know if Radbrad still exists as a creator. Let's just do a singularity right here. I just want to pull this in. If I can take this entire back line, makes my life easy. Let's just do an amount of rain. The goal is to just push in on this until I can hold these anti-creep points. Or these anti-creep generator points. Because there's not much they can do once I have them. But these things are a bit of a nuisance. I'll grant. It's right next to it. I don't know if that's going to make it. But so because everybody is trying to be, you know, a YouTuber, a famous author, the next concerned ape, it inherently just crowds out the market to the point where there's no hope for anybody. You know, even if every game released on Steam tomorrow was Stardew Valley tier or better, there's still that inherent too much competition effectively just chokes it all out, even if it is that good. Same thing with YouTubers, you know, if every single person is, you know, my caliber or probably better, yes, obviously a lot of this is kind of subjective. I'm just kind of waxing hypothetical. Okay, there we go. But, you know, even if you had a bunch of Stardew Valley tier farm sims come out tomorrow, none of them are going to be as successful as Stardew Valley because Stardew Valley exists and, you know, has already filled that niche. And people are kind of slow to change. I think it's why specifically games like, well, Helldivers and Creeper World and Slay the Spire, and I'm coming up with blanks on like other truly original games. I mean, Lethal Company. Why they take off and stay famous is because in a lot of cases they were the first ones to the market to capitalize on whatever that idea is. That's probably going to get destroyed. I'll build like 3 more just in case. It didn't. I'm impressed. Those snipers were on the ball. Okay, where's my one beacon? I'm just going to park it next to this thing. I don't know. There's no real answer to this. I'm just thinking about it. Mostly from the perspective of feeling slightly bad. Because as somebody who is effectively... I don't want to call it an indie game kingmaker because I feel like that's giving myself too much credit. But as somebody that does a lot of work to like highlight, hey, here are the best games and here are the really good games and here are the ones that like people should care about. There's kind of that lasting worry of like the more stuff that comes out, the more that becomes an impossibility too. The more it feels like I'm just yelling into the void. And it's kind of where I sometimes retreat back to games like this, the old favorites, instead of looking for something new to say like, hey, yeah, the old games are still just as good as they always were. And I think there's nothing wrong with that either. It's kind of a shame for something to become forgotten. Oop, that's not working. It's a shame for something to be forgotten just due to the you know, unstoppable march of time. How the hell am I getting in here? I guess we're just going to put a bunch of mortars down and hope for the best. Actually, I'm just up here already. Here's a question. Oh, no, I can't get it down. Beans. Oh. But I can take this one. If I can take one, I can take the other. That blown up? No. The rest of this is mine. Nice and easy. Let's see. The trick would be I'm gonna take just a bunch of these. We're just gonna pack them on this mountain. There's no grid here. There can never be grid here. This is gridless. The entire goal is to just bully this thing into non-existence through sheer bullets alone. There we go. I've never done a dampener. I don't even know what that does. It's never explained it, so I'm just kind of assuming it does a thing. If it works, it works. I wonder if it's specifically prevents... No, it doesn't prevent them from doing things. So that'd actually be kind of cool. I don't know. I'll look into it at some point. Or somebody in the YouTube comments will actually tell me what it does, and maybe it's actually really useful. Or maybe it's just functionally useless. Who knows? Let's see. Activate totems. What? Oh, there's the last one over here. The one, you know, on top of the mountain that I didn't bother to build up because why? How? There we go. This is silly. Oh, that was freaking fun. This is just nice coming back to Creeper World every once in a while. And it was not as short as I thought, which is good too. I was just mostly getting to the point where I was stable. Didn't take very long. But getting over here took a while. Look at that beautiful grid. Feels good, man. Feels good.